A lot of us go gray hoping that life will get a little easier, at least when it comes to our hair. But here's the thing, is gray hair actually less work, or are we just trading one type of high maintenance hair for another? I'll be honest, I wasn't sure myself for a while, but I recently took a good hard look at my pre and post gray hair routines, and I also checked in with your fellow silver sisters as well to get their thoughts. So today I'm finally ready to answer the question, is gray hair easier, or is it just a different kind of work? Make sure to stay to the end, not just to hear my own opinions, but also to get the results of the polls that I gave to your fellow Silver Sisters so you can see their thoughts on the subject too. Are you ready to get started? Let's dive right in. I started getting gray hair when I was 15, but I really only started dyeing my hair just to have fun when I was in my late teens and 20s. By the time I hit 40, all the fun and experimentation of dyeing my hair was absolutely gone. Dyeing had become nothing but a tedious, expensive, and time-consuming chore. I went to the salon about once a month, and because my hair is low porosity and very resistant to the dye, the salon dye jobs took hours. I'm saying 2 to 3 hours minimum. But to make matters worse, I had unknowingly developed a dye allergy. So not only was I sitting in the salon chair bored out of my mind, but I was also itching like crazy. My scalp burned. It was a very unpleasant experience. But still, I put up with it because for 2 or 3 glorious days, my hair looked fantastic. It was dark, it was glossy, it was beautiful, it was smooth, and I absolutely loved it. Then it would all start to go downhill. By day 3, maybe 4 if I was lucky, my gray roots would start poking through. And then I'd have to reach for my emergency stash of root powders, root sprays, and root mascaras. I would put them everywhere. I had a stash of them in my desk at work, in my car console, in my bathroom, probably other places too, but I just felt like it would be awful if people saw my gray roots. When I look back at it now, it seems a little crazy, but if you've been there, I think you understand. Around the same time that my roots would start to show, the shine would start to fade and my hair would revert back to a dullness. It just had no life. And I wasn't getting cheap salon treatments, by the way. I'm in LA. I have an arsenal of great salon stylists here with high-end treatments, but maybe it's just my hair. It would fade, the dullness would pop in, and it just started to look bad by day 4, by day 5. I really missed the shininess of my hair because it gave it life and vibrancy, so I bought a ton of shine sprays to try to get back some of that shine. They did not help my allergies. A lot of them were highly scented, but they would kind of give the illusion of a shine, but it was temporary. And then the unwanted frizz would kick in. I tried everything, serums, oils, keratin treatments, anti-frizz sprays, but none of them really worked. I could never even consider letting my hair air dry because it would just poof into a giant ball of frizz. So if I wanted my hair to look smooth, I had no choice but to blow dry it with one of those round brushes. And I'm not super gifted at it. I could never quite get it to look great. It would take a very long time to get kind of a halfway decent look. If the blow drying with the round brush didn't work, then I would have to pull out the flat iron, which I don't think was great for my hair because my hair was already severely damaged from all the decades of dyeing. On top of all of that, by week 2, my roots were screaming again. The skunk stripe would be getting pretty far down, and then I would have to break out a box of home hair dye to touch up my roots, or if I was feeling a little flush that month, I would head over to the salon and have my stylist touch up my roots. Now here's the kicker. Even with all of that, even with these frizz sprays and the shine sprays and the round brush and the flat iron and the root touch-ups, my hair never looked as good by week 2 as it did on day 1. Actually, by day 3, it never looked as good. Really, the only time my hair looked good was the first 2 days, maybe 3 days if I was lucky, of each cycle. So if I ever had a big event come up and I wanted my hair to look beautiful, I would have to shell out the big bucks to go to a professional blow-up bar to get my hair blown out and try to hide all these imperfections. It did work, but it was costly. Meanwhile, I was losing my hair by the handful with no end in sight. I even went to the doctor because I thought maybe I had some kind of a health issue. He just chalked it up to menopause, and I figured he was right. Spoiler alert, he was not right. And annoyingly, this entire process would repeat itself every month. This went on for decades before I finally said, I've had enough. Now, before we head on to the next section, I just have to ask, did you find your dyed hair routine as difficult as the one I'm describing? Because everybody's different, but that was my experience the last 10 or 15 years. And so I'd love to hear what you have to say too. Just head on down to the comment section and let me know. Okay, now here's my typical gray hair routine. I wash my hair about once or twice a week using a silver-friendly shampoo and conditioner. I do have a shower filter system attached to my shower head, and that helps remove any impurities from hard water or mineral buildup, which is important for women with fine gray hair like me. Occasionally, if I feel like my hair needs a little brightening, I will add 2 to 3 drops of Silvering's Tonal Control to my conditioner to neutralize any yellow tones that might have been caused by product buildup or air pollution, etc. It's super easy, and there's no other bottles cluttering up my shower or my bath. I just have the shampoo, the conditioner, and the Silvering Tonal Control. I no longer have to spend time cleaning out the hair trap in my bathtub after I take a shower because I'm not losing any hair anymore. I just lose the normal minimal amount of hair that everybody does just every day. But I'm not losing clumps of hair like I was before when I dyed my hair. So I don't really have to spend any time at all doing that. I just hop out of the shower, I take a t-shirt towel, I wrap my long hair up in it, tuck it in, and leave it on for about 15 minutes while I go about my business, brushing my teeth and putting on my makeup. After about 15 minutes, when I feel like my towel has soaked up all the excess water, I take off the towel, I comb or brush my hair, and I take a little UV protectant cream and I rub it between my palms, and I coat my hair on both sides with it, brush it through or comb it through, just to protect my hair from any UV or heat damage I might encounter until the next time I wash my hair. Most days I just let my hair air dry, which is something I never could have done before because of the frizz. But now it actually dries relatively smooth with just a little frizz, if any. It's like a miracle. If I'm feeling like I can't bear the thought of the wet hair on my body, I will sometimes take my long hair and twist it up into a couple of space buns, walk around like a nutcase for a few hours at home, and then when it's dry, I'll just take the space buns out and I'll have some nice waves. If I'm in the mood for a more polished look, I will take my damp hair and I will wrap it in a ribbon curler or an octo curl. Both of those are heatless curling options. Once in a while, if I really want that smooth, more polished look, I will take out my Dyson Airwrap and I will rough dry it to get my hair like almost fully dry, and then I will use the various attachments to smooth out my hair and get that kind of beautiful like glass look. I don't do it very often because it is more work, but it's an option and it works pretty well, and it goes on very low heat. I do have a video all about how to do that, which I will share here, and I'll also share it in the video description box below. Okay, you might be asking, what about styling products? Honestly, I don't use any. That's mainly because I have long hair. I don't really need to do anything special to make it look the way it is. Obviously, if you have a shorter hairstyle that requires more upkeep, you might need some, but for me, I don't use any styling products. What's really great is my natural silver hair grows in super shiny, so I don't need any of those shine sprays anymore or any of those frizz sprays. It's fantastic. I have hardly any products in my arsenal now, and I love it. However, there is one product that I just discovered recently that I've started using. It's Silvering's Shine and Define Oil. What I like about it is, first of all, it's a dry finishing oil, so it's not greasy at all. I just put a couple pumps in my hand, rub them together, and I tamp down any flyaways because I do still get some of those little baby hair flyaways up here. If I have any frizz, which is rare, I'll kind of go like this on my hair. It takes it all away. And what's really nice is I do get kind of dry ends. I've always had that because my hair is long. This is dead hair, so these are going to become dry. So when I have dry ends, I put a little of the Shine and Define oil on it. And what's really cool about it is, even though I don't really need the shine because I already have shiny hair, but it does something amazing. It amplifies your highlights and it deepens your lowlights. So if you have white or silver hair like I do, and you also have some darker hair like I do underneath here, when I put that Shine and Define oil on, it does make the dark hair show up against the light hair better, and it kind of makes it shimmer. I can't even explain it. I highly, highly recommend it. And the best part is that, for me at least, it's completely optional. In fact, that's what's amazing about almost everything I'm doing to my hair right now. Almost all of it's optional. Really, I could just wash and go. I just choose to do these other things because I like my hair to look a certain way. And so I choose to add a few products to it to make it look that way. But I don't have to. And that's not how it was before. Before, I had to do all of that work just to make my hair look decent enough for me to feel like I could leave the house. Now, I can leave the house without really hardly doing anything, and I like the way my hair looks. And that's a gift. I just remembered one other thing that I have to do, but I was doing this anyway, which is every single time I leave my house, I do have to wear a hat. But I've been doing that for decades anyway because I am from an Irish American family. I'm very prone to skin cancer. I've already dealt with it before. So I've always worn a UV resistant hat. But if you do have gray hair and it's fine, it is suggested to use a hat as well as a UV protectant product because otherwise your hair can get yellowed. Now, are there things that I add to this routine occasionally to solve a particular problem? Yes. I frequently experiment with a variety of products because of this YouTube channel as well as my blog. So I sometimes have to use a clarifying shampoo like Malibu Undo Goo just to remove any product buildup that I might have gotten from these unfamiliar products. I also like to give my hair a spa day about once every 3 months. I use the QuickSilverHair Clay kit for that. I will put a link in the video description box below about that product so you get the full picture on how to use it. But the reason I like using it is it moisturizes my hair, it smells fantastic, and it brightens my hair by removing any yellowing caused by things like environmental pollution, mineral buildup, product buildup, and a host of other things. Last year I had to deal with a skin cancer scare, and so I got very, very stressed out and anxious. And when I get stressed out and anxious, I tend to lose hair right here at my temples. I don't know if you can see, but right now it's growing back, which is amazing. And the reason it's growing back is because of this great new product called Silvering's Root Rouser. I'm always skeptical of hair growth products because, I don't know, I'm not a chemist, but I always think, can this really work? However, I've been using it now for a few months and it is working. This hair is coming back. I mean, it was bald here. So I'm very excited about that. I also put it on my eyebrows because like a lot of us in our 50s, my eyebrows are thinning and it does seem to be adding more growth to my eyebrows. So those are a few things I do when I want to solve a problem. And that is it. That's my whole routine. No dye jobs, obviously. No root touch-ups because I don't have any roots. Blow drying is now optional for me. It's not required. No round brushing unless I really feel like it, which is never. I never feel like it. No frizz sprays, no shine sprays. No more hair loss and breakage. And there's no more standing in front of the mirror wondering how in the heck I'm going to make my hair look decent. So now I'm just dealing with a few products, some consistency, and a whole lot less stress. So the answer for me is, compared to my old dyed hair routine, my gray hair routine is so much easier. And that really begs the question, why do some people think that gray hair is a lot more work? I think it mostly boils down to one thing. Many women do have to think about how to protect their silver hair from discoloration. Because gray hair, especially if it's fine, as I said earlier, is a lot more prone to discoloration from outside factors. Another reason that gray hair might sound like a lot of work is because if you're in a Facebook gray hair support group, for example, or if you follow a lot of different women on Instagram and you're reading about their gray hair routines, you'll see a lot of people talking about all these different products and they'll all sound great and amazing. And some people will also feed you misinformation that you need these products. But a lot of times you don't. If you're new to the silver hair world, a lot of this can seem very overwhelming. You might think, geez, do I need all of this? Do I need this to make my hair look good? Do I have to buy all of this stuff just to go gray? And the answer is no. You don't need a closet full of silver hair specific products. If you're happy with your hair care routine and your hair looks and feels good, you don't need to do anything else. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're already doing everything right. And speaking of that, when I asked my audience whether they thought gray hair was more work or less work than dyed hair, the answer was really clear. 85% of them said gray hair was less work. It was less money, it was less time, and it was less stress. Most of the comments on these polls reiterated what I've already been saying here. Gray hair care just feels easier. The people who felt like gray hair was more work were often at the start of their silver hair transition, and that makes sense because they don't know yet what works best on their natural hair. It does take some experimentation and time and a little money at first just to try different products and see what works for you, but you'll get there, I promise. Other women were dealing with texture changes, some of which could be attributed to hormonal shifts like menopause, and some of which were probably caused by the shift to gray. Everybody's hair reacts differently to reverting to the natural color. Those kind of changes can certainly make your hair feel unfamiliar for a little while, and that can make things feel more high maintenance in the beginning. But once you've adjusted, once you start figuring figuring out what your hair needs and you stop trying to fight it, something really important shifts. What we do to our gray hair to make it look its best starts to feel less like a requirement and more like a choice. Now that I'm gray, almost everything I do to my hair is because I want to, not because I have to. And that feels amazing. Do you feel the same? Let me know in the comments below. And if you watch this video because you're kind of on the fence about going gray, or you're thinking about going gray but you're not quite there yet, make sure to watch my next video, which is all about all of the best ways to go gray so you can find the way that suits you best. And if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.